the system as chair of the Concord, New Hampshire Planning Board due to the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis and in accordance with Governor Sununu's emergency order number 12 pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there's no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that we are, A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing the Zoom platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through the Zoom platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in the meeting through clicking on the following website address. It's https://zoom.us/j/75407-6629, or by dialing the following phone number, 929-208-6099, and entering the password 75407-6629. For those calling in who want to provide public testimony, dial *9 to alert the host that you want to speak. The host will unmute you during the public hearing portion of the meeting, and you'll be allowed to speak. Providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting using Zoom, and instructions are provided on the City of Concord's website at www.concordnh.gov/273/planning-board. And C, provide a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem, please call 603-568-8515 or send an email to planning@concordnh.gov. And D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled at that time. Please note that all votes that are taken during the meeting will be done in a roll call fashion when each member states their presence. Also, please state whether there's anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. With that, let's get the meeting started by taking a roll call of attendance. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Chairman Woodfin?
Here, and I am alone.
Member Hicks?
I'm here and alone in the room.
Member Rosenberger?
Sorry, I'm starting to unmute. I'm here and alone in the room.
Councilor Pierce?
I'm home alone in this room.
Member Smithmeyer? Member Smithmeyer, I don't know if you realize that you're muted, Suzanne. She was there a moment ago.
There you go.
Oh, there we can hear.
Yay.
Yeah,
I'm here
okay.
alone.
Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. We'll open the meeting. Go to the first item on our agenda, which is to approve the June 17th minutes as submitted. Would someone like to make a motion to approve those minutes as submitted, or if anyone has a question or concern regarding the minutes, if they could let me know, we'll talk about it.
This is Councilor Pierce. I move the minutes acceptance.
I second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? I'll start with aye.
Aye.
Member Rosenberger? You're still muted.
Aye.
Member Smithmeyer?
Aye.
Councilor Pierce?
Aye.
Member Hicks?
Aye.
Okay, so the minutes have been approved, and we will move right on to our agenda overview. We have a couple of items that will be tabled. We'll address those shortly. Other than that, everything will be heard on the meeting tonight. So we'll move right into number 5 here. If we could read that into the record, 5A, under architectural review applicants by consent. Actually, sorry, consent. So we've got 2 items on consent agenda, which are 5A and 5B. Could you read those in, Heather, just so
Sure.
Participants know if they've got a question, they can raise their hand.
Sure. Capital Street Associates, on behalf of New Hampshire Trust, requests ADR approval for the installation of a new non-illuminated wall sign at 97 North Main Street in the Central Business Performance District. And Concord Direct requests ADR approval for the installation of 5 new internally illuminated freestanding directional signs at 92 Old Turnpike Road and the Industrial District. If any of the attendees want to have that pulled from the agenda, you can raise your hand and we'll pull that from pull it from the consent, and we'll open a public hearing if you would like. I'm not seeing anyone raising their hand.
Okay, and any member of the board wish to pull that off the consent agenda, just give me a hand wave if if you'd like to pull that off the agenda. If not, we will entertain a motion. You said none of the attendees want to pull any of those, Heather?
No.
Okay, so if someone would like to make a motion to approve 5A and 5B as submitted with architectural design review comments, we'll take that motion.
So moved.
Okay, Councilor Pierce made the motion.
Second.
We have a second by Matt. All those in favor by roll call? Aye.
Member Rosenberger?
Aye.
Member Smithmeyer?
Aye.
Counselor Pierce?
Aye.
Member Hicks?
Aye.
Okay, that moves us on to item 6, which is design review applications. 6A is on our agenda list here, which is a landmark sign on behalf of Genesis, requesting ADR approval or replacement of 4 monument signs at 227 Pleasant Street in the institutional IS district. We have a motion to table recommendation from staff regarding ADR regarding ADR's comments and concerns on the signs. They'd come to ADR and didn't like the way the signs looked and had quite a few comments and concerns and questions regarding what was on them. So I see member Hicks's hands up. Matt?
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question. I was jogging on Pleasant Street and noticed these signs are already installed. I don't know what.
Already installed.
Yeah.
Yikes. Already
So-
installed.
We've talked about this before, about people who install the signs before they receive approval. So I forget what we do about this.
So
And
I believe, and staff, if you can just correct me if I'm wrong, but this does need to be referred back to code enforcement. They definitely didn't get approval from ADR, and ADR was pretty adamant that they wanted to see those signs again and that they didn't conform to the way they were supposed to, which wasn't an advertisement for, in this case, Genesis, but to tell people what the building was. So Heather, I don't know what the right process is, but can we refer it back to you guys to get code enforcement involved for
Sure.
direction? Okay, so
May
we have.
I-
Go ahead,
may I-
Teresa. Yeah.
I don't know how to raise my hand. Oh, there's my hand raising. I, like Matt, I drove by there yesterday and was shocked to see the signs. And first of all, I found it really difficult because I saw Genesis, but I didn't see anything about Pleasant View. And the only thing I finally saw was Pleasant View Lane or something. But I hope, as I've mentioned, probably since I've been on the board, if people are doing this, I hope code will fine them, at least. And whatever is appropriate, we should do it. I know in the past we haven't done that, but we really need, if you're going to have rules, you got to follow them. Otherwise, there's no reason to have rules.
That's absolutely right. And again, I think the planning, the architectural design review is right on the same track with you. They basically said you see Genesis, but you don't see its Pleasant View Center or whatever the other one was that they were head for approvals. And then inside, it's the same way with, Genesis again, as opposed to signs saying go here and go there. And there's no mistaking it. It's a big red, bright red sign, so or orange or whatever the color is. So
Right.
okay, so we'll get.
May I just ask that Heather or someone report back to us what code has done and what the city has done as far as reprimanding them for doing this without approval?
Yeah. We will do that.
Great. Okay, so we've got a motion before us to table, or actually, no, we don't. With recommendation from staff to table, I'll make the motion that we table the application. Somebody like to second that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, Suzanne Smithmeyer seconded. We'll do a roll call. All those in favor of table? Aye.
Aye.
Hold on, let's do our
Oh, yeah.
Member Smithmeyer,
Aye.
Member Rosenberger,
Aye.
Counselor Pierce,
Aye.
Member Hicks,
Aye.
and Chairman Woodfin gave an aye.
Aye. Yeah, sorry. I won't do that again. I'll make sure you ask first before I say aye. So that moves us to item 6B, if we could read that into the record.
Phoenix Livery LLC on behalf of Concord Craft request ADR approval for the construction of an outdoor patio It was at 117 Store Street in the Central Business Performance District. And we do have a number of folks here I believe, to present on behalf of this. Although I'm not entirely sure who's there because they didn't put their names in. So I'm looking for possibly Anthony Mentos, Dennis, or Mark Sabrowski.
Just raise their hands if you can just.
Yeah, can you all raise your hand if you are? Hold on, let me just allow this. I'll just allow a couple to talk. And
let's.
Do we have? I've got a 1688 number. Who is that?
This is Carl Murphy, and I'm waiting for item 7A.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Carl. I'm going to just mute you again. And then we've got 8199. Whose number is that? 545-8119. No answer. So I guess we do not have anybody for Concord Craft.
Okay, let's if we can, if they're here and can raise your hand in the attendee box over there. I don't know who those other new phone numbers are down there, Heather, but if we want to take them back.
One's Carl, and the person didn't answer. But the other folks that are on here, I don't think are.
Okay.
Nobody's raising their hand.
Okay, let's get a staff update if we can on this.
Sure, Sam, go ahead.
Sure. So this came to ADR at the July meeting, and I can share my screen as that would be far more helpful.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. You all can see that, I believe.
Nope.
No. Oh, 1 second.
I can hear the clicks though. There you go.
There we are. Okay. So this is the proposal is a patio, an outdoor patio for Concord Craft. This is obviously in light of COVID and the restrictions on dining. So we'll go from plan view. Basically, this is down on Store Street, 117 Store Street, Concord Craft. This is essentially the outline of the patio being proposed with an ADA accessible ramp up. Here's the entrance to Concord Craft. It was explained during the ADR meeting that Concord Craft is looking to expand into this space right here, which used to be Lily's. There was some damage to the space during a water main burst, and Concord Craft is looking to move into that as well as develop this patio for outdoor dining purposes. During the ADR meeting, the committee responded quite favorably to this design. There were just some slight comments, and the applicant does recognize that there are some complications in terms of a water main that runs under here, and they do recognize I believe they went to City Council this Monday for a license agreement. I'm sure Heather could speak to that in further detail, but it would be a similar situation to the Cheers patio, where the city would have the right to remove the patio should any work need to be done underneath the patio. From a profile view, you can see a retaining wall where the ramp would start. And then you have these flat areas with the patio right here. They'll be bringing in some glass garage doors that would be able to be opened and closed as needed. And I think that summarizes the big points for this project.
So I have to apologize. I do recall now that Mark had. So there were a number of engineering related issues that they hadn't provided details to engineering yet. So we had a conference call between engineering and ourselves and Mark's team, and they had actually requested to postpone it to August. So I forgot that we were not actually, that's why they're not on the call, because they're probably expecting to return next month. A lot of those issues don't really deal with the design, and so it's not going to affect the design, but they thought it made sense to just hold off until they get all the construction specs and make sure they have everything squared away. No one in engineering really had an issue with them getting their approval, but Mark was like, it's fine if you just want to wait till next month. It's fine with. He said it was fine with him. So
we'll consider this a preview, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
I
okay.
apologize. I forgot that that's what most recently transpired, but you might want to make a motion to postpone
Table?
it till next month.
Table or postpone till next month? or
Yeah, I
something?
would just postpone it till next month.
Okay. Do we need a motion to postpone it?
Yeah, because it's on the agenda, so you should have a formal motion.
So, yeah, Matt?
Can I ask a question? Is this something that we think they need to come back, or is this something that we think that engineering can approve and we can trust that that will happen? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think my understanding was that it would be okay, essentially, that it's something that engineering could approve. I'm sort of I guess nobody's going to complain if the board wants to go ahead and approve it. It does, none of the property owners get a chance to come and brag about it. Or
I'm hesitant not to get it back in here and see it, especially if it's going to be noticed and the people will be here. I know there was not much on the ADR piece, but there's an ADA accessible walk. What were they going to put around it for fencing as far as the fence piece goes, and then the grading around that American sycamore tree. So I'm inclined to do it all in one shot, since they have quite a laundry list of things that still needed to be done before we could even kind of sign off on it. So
I offered to make a positive recommendation for a motion, and Mark was fine with not doing that. So I think if there's anything you want to see again, to go ahead, that would be a good idea to wait till next month.
Okay. So let's make a motion to postpone this until the August meeting. I'll make that motion if someone would like to second it.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded by Suzanne Smith Myers. All those in favor by roll call?
Chairman Woodfin?
Yes, aye.
Member Smith-Meyer?
Yes.
Member Rosenberger?
Yes.
Counselor Pierce?
Yes.
Member Hicks?
Yeah, aye.
Okay, moves us into the site plan and subdivision conditional use permit application portion of our vast agenda for this evening. Item 7A. Let's read that into the record if we could, Heather.
Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests requests a conditional use permit approval to allow disturbance of the bluff buffer for construction of a storage silo at 54 Portsmouth Street in the open space residential district. Staff does recommend the application be determined complete, not a development of regional impact, and open the public hearing.
Okay. We do have a determination of completeness component, so we'll handle that as a single item. Staff has found that the application is not a development of regional impact, and we can open the public hearing. Would someone like to make a motion to find that this is not a development of regional impact?
So moved.
Teresa made that motion. We have a second.
Second.
Seconded by Suzanne. All those in favor by roll call?
Chairman Woodfin?
Aye.
Member Rosenberger?
Aye.
Member Smith-Meyer?
Aye.
Counselor Pierce?
Aye.
Member Hicks?
Okay, let's get a staff update on this. I think there's some questions regarding if we want to do this tonight or not. So let's get a quick staff update if we can, Heather.
No, this one we're fine with. It's the next
Okay.
one that we're
Okay.
recommending to table.
All right, sorry.
But this and we
7B,
do have
you told me that 7B, and I okay. So
Yeah,
let's go ahead
Beth
and
can
get a
give a
staff
short-
update.
update, and Carl is on the line. I've allowed him to talk.
Okay.
So this is a pretty, I think, relatively simple one. They're adding a storage silo for fuel material for the Forest Society heating plant, either I think pellets or wood. So it's an expansion of the existing heating plant, which was constructed within the buffer, and this was prior to us having the bluff buffer ordinance. So it was grandfathered in. The area is already disturbed. It's a paved area. And they are proposing to remove some of the pavement to restore the area that they're not impacting. They went before the Conservation Commission last week. The commission recommended approval they just wanted to make sure that during construction, the drainage patterns aren't changed so that they don't have any concentrated runoff that may compromise the bluff. And they thought that it was a doable project that would not compromise the bluff. So I can share my screen so we can, Carl Murphy, who's on the phone, he submitted a revised drawing that shows sort of the area of restoration. And while I'm doing that, if you have questions for Carl, or if Carl has anything to add.
We'll just wait on you, Beth.
Okay.
There you go.
So this is the heat plant. If you're following my hand, this is the driveway that comes into the Forest Society. The main building is back here. The heating plant, there's parking area right here. This is all paved. They're going to put the silo into concrete foundation adjacent to the building. And then there's a propane tank back here currently and asphalt. They're going to relocate the propane tank, put silt fence along the top of the outside of the work area, and restore this area of the buffer, excuse me, for the buffer.
So is that the concrete pad? Obviously is square pad, and then it's a round top like a silo. Is that like a corn silo or something?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So runoff will be minimal. It's not going to go to one side or the other. It's going to go all the way around, right?
Yep. Yeah. Jeff Lewis, who's a civil engineer on the Conservation Commission, felt confident looking at what they were proposing, that it would not change the current drainage patterns.
Okay.
So
which way is the bluff? Bluff to the right, right?
Yeah, pretty much just to the right of Bluff Edge right here.
Okay. Okay, and we got a person from on the line. I don't know if we need any comments or concerns, but if you have any questions or any, I think you said Carl was his name. If you have any anything to add to that, Carl, and I got your, I'll hang on.
No, I think Beth said everything that was necessary at this point, but if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer anything.
Okay. Councilor Pierce had his hand up. I don't know if it's a question for you or not, but Councilor Pierce?
I was just wondering, is this the type of fuel silo that's on legs? So the legs of the silo would be sitting on the concrete pad, or does it go all the way to the concrete pad?
That's a good question. Beth, do you see anybody from Falling Energy represented?
No, I don't, but I will share my screen. They did a rendering of what it looked like, so it's not on legs. It'll be
Yeah,
right. I saw in the
and I
picture
believe
that
it's solid all the way down.
Yeah, so it's pretty gonna be solid, sit right on the concrete
Yeah.
pad.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for the applicant or any member of the audience have a question regarding this this application? If you could make yourself known now, raise your hand. I don't see anybody, so no, Heather, I don't see anybody. Do you? No? Okay. So let's close the public hearing. We do have staff review comments, and 2.1 is to revise the plans to show the area of restoration as well as the proposed erosion and sediment controls. So that's part of any recommendation to grant the conditional use approval is that that staff recommendation get done. And then under 3.1 is to grant conditional use permit approval to allow for the disturbance of the buffer to bluff for installation of a storage silo subject to the following precedent and subsequent conditions noted below. And those are outlined in precedent conditions 1 and 2 and subsequent conditions 1. Would someone like to make a motion to grant that conditional use permit as outlined?
so moved.
Council Pierce has made the motion and Matt Hicks has seconded. All those in favor by roll call?
Chairman Woodfin?
Aye.
Member Rosenberger?
Aye.
Member Smithmeyer?
Aye.
Councilor Pierce?
Aye.
Member Hicks?
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries and the conditional use permit is granted for that application. So thank you very much for your participation. You are all set and ready to roll. Let's move to 7B. Now we have a recommendation to table. Is that on staff's recommendation or the applicant's recommendation?
Staff recommended table because we never received the fees for this
Okay.
application.
So if anybody's here for item 7B for Concord Hospital requesting 2 conditional use permits and ADR approval for the installation of a new wall sign, you got to pay your bill first and then we'll hear it. So let's get a motion to table. I'll make the motion to table if someone would like to second that motion.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Teresa Rosenberger. All those in favor by roll call?
Chairman Woodfin?
Aye.
Member Rosenberger? She said aye, but she was on mute.
Aye.
I got
Sorry.
you. There you go.
Member Smithmeyer,
Aye.
Counselor Pierce.
Aye.
Member Hicks.
Aye.
Okay, so that motion has been tabled. We'll move on to item 7C in our agenda. If we could read that into the record.
The debate group incorporated on behalf of Strategic Contracting Company LLC, requesting an amendment to a conditionally approved major site plan approval for construction of a 13-unit condominium development and associated site improvements. This is phase 2 of the Glen Ellen housing project, which is off of Hoyt Road in the residential open space district. And Beth can give you an update.
Yep.
Okay, we've got a determination of completeness and a
No,
and
Nope.
development of regional impact. No, okay.
No, it's an amendment to a previously approved
Okay.
plan. Conditionally approved, so it hasn't even been finally approved. So
Okay.
sort of a continuation.
So before you do that, if there's any member of the audience that is going to speak, if you could just make yourself known, and Heather, if you could participant Carl Murphy, that would be great. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Beth.
I was just about to say Doug McGuire and Jean Archambault from the debate group and Strategic Contracting are on the call.
Okay.
So this is the applicant, based on some comments that came before you back in September. It was conditionally approved for this phase 2 single family or detached condominium development. And ADR had requested more definite housing types. And now since that time, they've narrowed it down to what the housing types they want. So they have actually adjusted the grading and the layout of the project. So they're coming before you tonight because they're realigning. So they relocated one of the houses and they've also realigned the drive. But when it was before you in September, they had more of like a boulevard entrance with a median and landscaping. And there was discussion about that not being necessary, just do more of a subdivision entrance. So that's what they've changed. So those are the major changes. And I also want to note that we received public comment from Jennifer Zanes. She's an abutter and she and her husband testified back in September about their concerns regarding the separate entrance for Taft Way for phase 3. And we assured her this month that the applicant that will be addressed during phase 3. This is only addressing the phase 2, but I just want to get that in the record that they still have that concern, and that's something that we'll work with the debate group. And it was actually a comment engineering made in this round as well. So if phase 3 comes forward, just for the record, that's still a concern that the abutters have.
And they'll be notified and allowed to make testimony once that is brought before us at that point, right?
Correct. Yep.
Great. Thank you. Okay, is the applicant on the line and wish to speak?
Doug McGuire and Jean have both been allowed to speak, and Doug has his hand up, so whichever.
Take it away.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. This is Doug McGuire with the debate group. I certainly don't have too much to say, as Beth gave a pretty good detailed synopsis of what we are coming back before you today for. If there's any particular questions regarding any pieces of the changes, I'm happy to walk you through. I'm happy to, I don't know if you guys do the screen sharing on my end, or if you want me to do that, I can, but I'll leave it up to the board if they have questions.
Yeah,
Doug, if you've got something to share, that'd be great.
Doug, if you would like to share your screen, I can. I have promoted you to panelists, so your video will now be available, and you'll be able to share screen if you want. Do board members want to see the plan?
Yeah, please.
We do have a plan. Either Beth can share or. Hi there.
Hi. How are you guys?
Good. You can share, or Beth can share now. Either way.
I'll just share it. That way I can kind of point to things if there's questions. Here we go. So this is the Glen Ellen property. I'm sure many of the board members are familiar and recall this. The second phase, basically the first phase was these frontage lots and the farmhouse lot being taken out, as well as establishing the open space. The second phase is a subdivision roadway proposed to go over. Right here, you can see that's phase 2. That consists of 13 residential homes. This is actually a good graphic to show what is actually changed. You can see here in phase 3, this is the original footprint of the proposed single-family homes that were going to be placed. You can see now that they're more of a conventional colonial style unit. What that did is, one, that's what the applicant's proposing to market here realistically, and 2, it actually provided the ability to grade this property a little bit better. The previous plan had 5 residential homes on the cul-de-sac, and what that created is a staggering effect where some of the homes had to be pushed further off the cul-de-sac with this, like a shared driveway scenario. And what that created was an enormous amount of fill, which had to be placed in this area of the site. And so what we were able to do is, because these are less of a, I guess, a deep depth of a building, as you can see right here, the previous buildings were not quite as wide and much deeper. So there was additional cuts happening in the rear and additional fills on the low side. And as I said, a significant amount of fill. Like one of the previous homes was way out here. There was another home out here, and then all this fill was carried that much further out. So basically what we did is we held the exact alignment of the roadway, besides, as Beth mentioned, modifying the entrance slightly. If in the previous approval, this was actually proposed to be the secondary road with the primary road going up the hill and this teeing off of that, we felt that in this case, it made a lot more sense, because this is the first phase being designed, that this be the primary road coming in. And if there is an eventual third phase and we come back to this board and to staff to review, that would come teeing off of this. After this slight modification, the alignment is exactly the same. The drainage is in the exact same locations as far as how we're treating the drainage. We have our detention system back here, so that's in the same location. Just basically everything was tightened up a little bit. Fill was significantly reduced. These are the actual building programs that they're looking to do. And we had a pretty elaborate boulevard treatment. The goal for this project is to feel more like a natural subdivision, even though it is an open space development. And for that reason, we wanted it to feel more like a standard subdivision roadway without the elaborate, almost like gated community feel. So this is going to feel a little bit more like a natural subdivision. And so those are really the changes, and happy to answer any particular questions that board members may have.
Okay, great, thank you. Let's hop off your, well, actually, we'll leave your screen on there in case anybody has a question regarding that. Any member of the board have any questions, concerns, comments? Just make yourself known. Any member of the audience have any questions, concerns, or comments, Heather, if you can?
There are none.
Okay. I know there was, during the architectural design review meeting, there was a significant talk about, I think it was building 9, maybe, on how it was situated. Is that different than what was originally proposed? Yeah, building 9. So that one is situated a little differently, where it's kind of turned on angle. I know they talked about the way you're going to enter the house around the front, and the driveway is coming into the garage and whatnot. I don't know if you took away any action items from architectural design review, or any changes have been made to that.
Well, that's a good question, and I can certainly elaborate a little bit on that. My feeling is that, and unfortunately, I was away on vacation during the architectural design review, and I may have been able to speak a little bit better towards that one point, only because I had laid out some of these alignments, and I can speak to my thought process on this. The goal of this unit is actually, as you can see, we have a pretty hefty cut coming in, and the previous application had something very similar as far as a cut in this area. What we weren't able to do on the previous application is provide the opportunity for a garage under access. And so that's what's happening here. And architectural design review, I don't believe recognized that, and it wasn't made aware to them as that being a proposed improvement. So in their mind, I think what they were thinking is that, you know, we have this garage space which is staring you right in the face from your entrance as you come along the cul-de-sac, and that would be maybe a bit unsightly. The reality is that actually this is going to look pretty natural in this way, because what we have is a side load garage. So the garage doors are going to be facing the side, and that is going to be a garage under approach. And then above that would be finished living space. So there would actually be like a great room or whatever, which would have windows and usable space above the garage. And so that'll actually be aesthetically pleasing. As far as access to the house, there will be a door on the lower level in addition to the garage, but that won't be the primary access point. There'll still be a primary draw or access point coming up to the front of the house. It'll just simply be, I mean, my house personally is the same way, where you have a garage under, you're going to have a walkway that comes up, and there'll be a series of steps and landscaping area that allows you to comfortably walk up to the front door. But you would be coming up some steps, whereas these being walk outs in the backyard would be different, because obviously your access would come right to the front door. So in this particular case, we took advantage of utilizing the grade to allow for a garage under access, which reduced some of the overall cut that would be seen in this back area. So in my opinion, I do feel that it's a reasonable layout. I think when you first look at it, or maybe you don't look at it with the grading turned on, and it looks like a similar shape to that of building 8 or building 7, you say, well, what are we doing here? But in this case, with the garage under, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And the picture that we looked at in architectural design review did not show this topography. It showed just the flat drawing. So it was no mention of the garage under, and that's perfectly logical. So the other question was regarding colors and roofs and things like that. But again, these are going to be built to spec. Is that right? So, or not, maybe not spec, but you're going to give the new owners the ability to pick colors within a narrow palette, within a certain devices. Is that right?
That's absolutely the plan. Yes.
Okay. Those were my questions that I had jotted down. Any questions from the board again? Okay. If not, let's have you stop sharing your screen. If you could, thank you. That was helpful, Doug. I appreciate that.
Sure.
And let's, where did Heather go? Oh, there she is. Okay, so we've got, close the public hearing and move on to our recommendations on this. So this is basically just item 3, which is to grant amended architectural design review approval as submitted, with suggestions that the orientation of 9 be reconsidered. I'm going to strike that. I don't think that is at all the case any longer. So architectural design review had made that comment, and I think we just heard why the designer put it in the way he did, to use the topography of the land. So I'm going to make a change to that, to basically say that we're going to grant amended architectural design review approval as submitted. Is that okay, Heather or Beth or somebody? That's fine. Okay, so let's take that one, and item 3.2, which is to grant approval of the amendment to conditionally approve major site plan subdivision for the Glen Allen Phase 2 cluster subdivision. As part of this action, indicate that all conditions of the original October 16th, 2019 approval shall remain in full force and effect. Additionally, the applicant shall address the comments to the satisfaction of the planning board and engineering services. Would someone like to make a motion to grant 3.1 and 3.2 as outlined?
I'll make the motion to put forward the recommendations as amended in 3.1.
And 3.2?
And 3.2 in its entirety.
Great. Someone like to second that motion?
Second.
That motion's been made, seconded by Matt Hicks. Do a roll call vote. All those in favor? Heather?
Forgot I was muted.
Heather? Oh,
I forgot I was muted. I apologize. Chairman Woodfin,
aye.
Member Smithmeyer,
Aye.
Member Rosenberger,
Yes.
Counselor Pierce,
Yes.
and Member Hicks.
All right.
Okay, that has been granted. You guys are good to go. Good luck with your project, and hopefully we'll see you soon with phase 3. Okay, let's move on. Boy, I think item 7D has been removed from our agenda. Is that right, Heather?
Yeah, they have requested to postpone.
Okay, so we have a recommendation, or we've requested to postpone. Do we have to do anything?
Yeah, I would make a motion to postpone to the August 19th planning board meeting.
So I'll make a motion to postpone item 7D, which is Mountain Lake Heating Fuel LLC for minor site plan approval for conversion of a 2-unit building to a 4-unit building. Make a motion to postpone that to our August meeting. Someone like to second that motion?
Second.
Motion was seconded by Teresa Rosenberger. Do a roll call. All those in favor?
Chairman Woodfin,
Aye.
Member Rosenberger,
Yes.
Member Smithmeyer,
Aye.
Counselor Pierce,
Yes.
Member Hicks.
Okay, that motion has been tabled, or that application has been tabled. That finishes item 7, or items under our site plan subdivision section. Brings us to other business. Any other business which may legally come before the board tonight? Do we have anything else from staff or any member that the board wish to bring anything up?
No, I would just like to, I'm not sure if we said during the other motions, the other tabled and postponed motions, everything that we've done tonight was tabled and postponed to the August 19th planning board hearing. I just want to make sure we specify that the date so that they don't have to renotice any
August
of those
19th.
things.
Sorry, I think
No,
I
it's
just
okay.
said August.
You may have, I just,
Yeah.
I couldn't recall doing that.
Yeah.
I do want to share that I received an updated draft of our the zoning code. So legal and myself and code are going to be reviewing that draft, and we're hoping to pick up speed and get this adopted hopefully before the end of the year by council. So hopefully soon we'll be coming to you with some presentations and public hearing.
That's outstanding. That's great.
Yeah.
Love to get that moving and on track.
Yeah,
forward.
COVID gave us a big pause. There was a lot of staffing issues from our end and from the consultant's end. But we are trying to pick it back up and move the dial.
Great. And I know the only thing I've got, I know some of you have already seen it, but there was a official proposal that was sent back from GZA Engineering regarding the gas holder building. So that big gas holder building on South Main Street, council got it. A lot of the historical pieces and parts and people in the city have seen it. So you'll start to see some conversations regarding how that is going to be affected going forward, whether it's going to be saved or what the pieces and parts are. But there is on the city has received it, and it's a long document if you want to take a look at it. So. Okay, with that, if there's anybody else have anything, Sam?
Heather, do we want to update admin approvals for this month?
Oh, correct. Do you have the list? I don't have it.
Sure, I can pull that up.
Okay, thank you. So in our regulations, it says whenever I do an administrative approval, I give an update to the board of the administrative approvals. And this is something that I repeatedly forget to do, but we did a couple this month. And so Sam, can you just give a short summary of the approvals that we did?
Sure. A 2017 minor subdivision, Robinson up on Hoyt Road, I believe. They want to relocate the location of a well, given what they found on the ground and stuff like that. So that's been reviewed by engineering, and we did an administrative approval to allow that. The Tannery building, Caleb development in Pennacook. There's a number of things. I'll just kind of run through these. They needed to relocate some of the two transformer pads. This was based on Unitil's comments. They have now screened those with landscaping, or are going to. They wanted to widen the entry patio on the parking lot sign with brick pavers and 2 sitting benches. They wanted to add a 10 by 18 foot shed at the rear of the parking lot. The siding and the trim will match the main building. They had to remove some of the plantings along Crescent Street due to the likelihood of them being damaged during phase 2 construction. These plantings will be replaced following the completion of phase 2, which I guess they will be starting relatively shortly. They relocated the permanent facility sign more into the center of between the 2 buildings. And they relocated some of the plantings from the rear fence line to the near side of the berm, which would go into the detention pond for better screening. They figured they'd want to have the trees closer to the building. And they also increased the number of plantings, and they wanted to replace the crabapple trees with royal burgundy cherry trees. So that's all on that project. Couple of months ago, maybe 1 or 2, we had Christ the King Church come in with quite a few rather large sign package. And the only change, they were going to have a big kind of low-lying sign fronting on South Main Street, and it was originally proposed to be a glass sign on top of a granite base with gold leaf lettering on the glass. It's now proposed to be all granite instead of glass on top of granite. It's the update.
So I think in the future, we'll try to just maybe attach a Word document with a little summary, and then if anybody has questions, we can go over it. But otherwise, we'll just make it an informational item.
So is it something that we should just put in as a item on the agenda, just as on other business, put it in other business, and then have administrative updates? So every month we can just say, I can ask the question, are there any administrative updates? And you can give them to us and we'll move on. So I'd rather do it that way, then we don't have to remember to put it on. So
I'll add it to the agenda, and then we'll just do a link. And so you can,
and we can see it.
Board members can read it, and you can ask us if you have questions. Otherwise.
Perfect. That'd be much better. Then we can look at it and say, why didn't we see this?
Great idea.
Or what can we put over to administrative and have you guys handle? Okay, with that, if there's nothing else, we will entertain a motion to adjourn. If someone would like to make that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. All those in favor?
Chairman Woodfin?
Aye.
Member Smithmeyer?
Aye.
Member Rosenberger?
Aye.
Counselor Pierce?
Yes.
Member Hicks?
Aye.
Okay, and David, you get credit for being there. I see your video on, so thank you for coming. Thank you for participating. All right, we are adjourned, everyone. Have a good evening. We will talk to you soon. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Take care of yourselves. Keep your
Well.
distance.
Be safe.
Where are you?